The one who loves more cares for their loved one. The one who loves less takes advantage of love. If you don't like this situation, you don't cherish this person and they force you to care for them. Don't communicate with them. Say goodbye. Teach them a lesson. You can stop communicating for some time so they learn how to behave properly. Teach them a lesson. If they don't change, then decide whether you'll keep caring for them and fulfilling all their demands. And you bring the situation to what we will talk about in today's lecture. If this is just the beginning of a relationship, there will be certain stages. When you care for someone close to you, you go through certain stages and then they change. Either you change them or you part ways because you're not truly together yet, you're only dating. You have the right to choose. You can stop communicating with them for some time and compel them to behave decently. In general, don't be upset by this behavior. The first thing you should understand is that all men are the same. They all torment women. Everyone wants their own way, and women torment men just the same. All people are alike. Everyone wants their own way. Don't be surprised that you've encountered a selfish person. Non-selfish people don't exist on this earth. Everyone without exception is selfish. Don't be surprised. There's a sense of surprise in your question. You say that the person has listened to lectures, now he knows everything about how a woman should behave, and starts reading you a list of what you should do for him. Don't be surprised. This is just a manifestation of selfishness. Any knowledge can become either nectar or poison. If a person applies knowledge to themselves and doesn't impose it on others, it's nectar. If a person applies knowledge to others and not themselves, it's poison. Learn to direct knowledge only toward yourself. Next question. My boyfriend is very jealous. In arguments, he starts shouting. This is a common thing. It happens all the time. How can I help him take different situations more easily? For example, he worries a lot about what others think of him. All this provokes conflicts. I truly cherish this person. I read psychology books to reduce conflict, but I feel I lack the right knowledge. It's not knowledge you lack strength. The only thing anyone truly lacks in this life is strength. First, you need to understand one simple truth. Who do you actually want to help? Most often, people want to help only themselves. For example, this question doesn't really mean the girl wants to help her boyfriend. She wants to help herself because she wants to live with someone who doesn't get nervous. She wants to live with a good, kind person who isn't jealous or anxious. That's why she asked this question. First, you need to formulate your thoughts correctly. What do I really want? If I want to help the other person, then I have a completely different attitude. I start praying and accept them as they are. To help a person, you simply need to accept them. As soon as I accept them as they are, they immediately become 50% better. We talked about this yesterday. With the girl in the first row, we talked about how her husband started drinking less, simply because she accepted him into her life as he is. I simply accept my husband or boyfriend, that he is jealous, and it's not because he's bad, but because he's in pain. He can't live differently. He lacks strength. He gets nervous. He worries. He is weak. He lacks strength. But I have strength. I pray. I think about God. I read prayers. I purify my heart and gather strength. I gain more and more strength inside. Gradually, with the help of this strength, I accept the situation. I become calm and accept the other person. As soon as I accept him, my energy also starts flowing to him, and he starts to improve. He begins to realize that he's wrong. When he gets nervous, he apologizes. When a loved one has already overcome their fate, when I calmly relate to my loved one and their problem, they begin to apologize. But if I don't relate calmly, they argue. If I worry about his bad character, that's my problem, not his. It's my fate that torments me. But if through prayer I overcome my fate and stop worrying that this person has a bad character, then there's no need to even ask the question anymore, because I can already see that he himself is not happy with his character. He starts apologizing, starts changing, behaving better. When we forgive a person and accept them as they are, half the situation is already resolved. But first you need to clarify your motives. Here the girl doesn't actually want to help him, but herself. The motives are not selfless. Because truly helping him simply means prayer and forgiveness. I pray and I forgive him. That's how I help him. But if I want him to change just like that, that's already about helping myself, because I want a happy life like everyone else does, without effort. Next question. There's an idea that a girl transfers her relationship with her father to her relationship with her husband, and with men in general. I feel gratitude and respect for my father, but there was no communication. What should I do in this case? Don't worry. Don't worry. If you have gratitude and respect for your father, then don't worry. Everything will be fine in your future relationships. Don't be sad and don't worry that you will have a hard fate if you didn't have a close relationship with your father. Don't worry, you will live just like everyone else. You will argue just like everyone else, suffer, and develop good qualities in yourself. Don't think that you will have it worse than others or better. Just accept your fate as it is. In fact, fate is such that if you had difficulties with your father, whether he wasn't around or there were problems in the relationship, it simply means you have difficulties with the masculine principle in general. This may show up as difficulties with your husband, your son, even with male friends or the husbands of your female friends, but there's nothing wrong with that because that's just how life works. If I have a mess in my kitchen, it's nothing tragic. It just means there is a certain amount of work for me to do, that's all. Everyone has their own volume of work in this world. So don't worry that your fate is worse because you didn't have a relationship with your father. No, your fate is just like everyone else's. Someone didn't have a relationship with their father, others with their mother, others lacked something else, and so on. This is normal life. Don't get too fixated on your situation. There's work to do, so do it. Your friend might have a dirty living room. You might think that's easier than having dirt in the kitchen. Dirt in the kitchen is much harder, very difficult even. In fact, it may feel hopeless. But no, it just means you have to clean, that's all. Don't worry about it. Just go to the kitchen and clean up your mess. And if you don't yet know where your kitchen is, if you haven't even bought an apartment yet, and you don't suspect it might get dirty someday, then there's absolutely no reason to worry at all. When you buy an apartment, you'll clean it then. And if you want to start cleaning this kitchen dirt on the subtle energy level, then pray about it. Again, there's no reason to worry. You might ask, could there be problems with my husband? Of course, because all women have problems with their husbands. I have never seen a woman who didn't have problems with her husband. This is normal. People get married and problems inevitably arise because close relationships are meant to cleanse us of negative karma. This is a difficult process. Next question. How should a daughter behave toward her father to build a good relationship? I felt strong aggression toward my father. I didn't accept his authority. His words didn't match his actions, and he drank a lot. Now, so as not to hold hatred in my heart and to communicate respectfully with him, I keep reminding myself that I must have been like this myself in a past life. Well done, good. You're doing the right thing, but you don't need to cling to this thought too much. Prayer cleanses all this from your heart. You say, only with this thought was I able to overcome my hatred toward my father and bring myself to visit him. Before I visit him, I have to prepare myself. I tell myself by giving him attention, I am serving God. This gives me strength. In the mornings, I mentally bow at his feet. At first it felt disgusting, but then it got easier. Dr. Torsunov, please bless me so that I can pray to God through an attentive, respectful attitude toward my father, so that I can serve him. I'm afraid I might break down. Well done. She's already on the right path. She has taken a step. She's trying, even though she feels there's still a lot of work ahead. Dr. Torsunov, please tell me I can do this work. You definitely can do it, 100%, without any doubt. Thousands of people have already done this. It's impossible to live and do nothing. You will keep living, and it will all get done. Gradually, you will be able to treat your father better and better. I can tell you this from my own fate. I went through the same thing. My father drank and beat my mother all the time. I suffered a lot in my life because of this, but I began to pray and gradually accepted him into my life. I stopped being angry at him. But you have to understand that when a person lives in degradation, it's impossible to build a close relationship with them. You can respect them in your heart, but you should keep some distance. Eventually, my father repented for what he had done. He stopped drinking as a result of my mother's and my prayers. Now I have a closer relationship with him. He's become a different person. He wants to live a righteous life. He makes amends, and he thinks about higher things. The time comes and everyone changes. For some, it's harder. For others, it's easier. Regarding your relationship with your father, know this. The most important relationship is the one in your heart. People often think, how can I talk to him if he's drunk, if he has negative views on life? People think that relationships mean conversations, but relationships aren't built through conversations. They are formed in your heart through prayer. Place an image of a holy person or a holy place at home. Play the voice of an exalted person. Bow to the shrine. Your father is already in your heart. The connection with him is there. When you bow to the shrine, when you become like a glowing light bulb, then gradually that light first brings peace into your own heart. Then this light begins to flow more and more into these relationships as well. You repeat, I wish my father happiness, I wish my father happiness, I don't want to think about him, I wish my father happiness. and you feel it's already getting a little easier. I wish my father happiness, a little easier still, and so on. We bow to the holy person, we listen to the voice of this holy person. Gradually, the light in your heart grows stronger. First, you feel calm in your heart toward your father. Gradually, it becomes easier to think about him. A connection is established. Then gradually, his conscience begins to awaken. He starts behaving better. Relationships always begin in the heart. Once you feel strength in your heart, you will be able to act appropriately with your father, but there's no need to talk much. You visit, smile, and say, "Daddy, I love you." Give him a little gift, but don't discuss anything. Just kiss him and leave. These are relationships that are just beginning. At first, it's not necessary to discuss anything. If your father says, "Let me tell you something, daughter," you reply, "Sorry, Daddy, I'm in such a hurry. Next time." If you can't handle close contact yet, don't force it. There's no need. If you feel that your father lives in degradation, don't try to build too close a relationship through conversations. Relationships are always built in the heart. If you put enough effort in your heart toward your father, you won't have a feeling in your heart that you're treating him badly. You will start treating him well. You can call and say, "Daddy, I love you. Sorry, I'm in a hurry." That's it. He won't even have time to say anything bad to you. Relationships can take many forms. If you have the strength, you can build the kind of relationship you want. But if you don't have the strength, then I'm sorry. There will be sadness, melancholy, and a sense of, "I'm so unhappy, everything is bad." Next question. Please explain what it means to keep a distance in a relationship with a close person. This literally means not expecting happiness from them. It means fulfilling your duties and caring for them, but not expecting them to make you happy. Because when you expect happiness from a close person, you cannot keep your distance and cannot discipline them because of this. This is the problem. If we depend on our close people, this is called attachment. Attachment leads to suffering. When you care for a close person, you feel joy in your relationship with them, but when you expect something from them, you feel sadness. Keeping a distance means helping and caring, but not having sex, not kissing, not being too affectionate. If the situation calls for that, they understand very well why. Even a cat always knows whose cream it stole. A person always knows it too. What I'm telling you is very difficult. Even for me, it's very difficult. If this happens to me, it's also hard, because you want to enjoy a close person. You want to approach, hug them, and enjoy, but you can't. You have to discipline them. Next question. How to treat a father who has been absent for about 20 years? Well, thank God he's still alive after 20 years. How should you treat him? Treat him well. Prayer, and again prayer. You want to solve issues by external means. Dr. Torsunov, make it so that I treat my father well. Stand up. Who should I do this for? For you? Please understand it doesn't work like that. You have to do the work yourself. I can bless you. What's your name? Rima? Rima, dear, your father is very strict. I can feel his personality. So you should be humble. If you are very humble toward him, it will be 50 times easier for you with your husband. I sense you are not married. You have two options. Either your husband will be very soft or very strict like your father. You have only these two options. If your husband is weak, you'll end up being the strict one. If he is very strict with you, you will have to be humble. So it's better to develop this humility with your father now. Daddy, thank you for being strict. I am very grateful. Even if inside you don't feel grateful yet, at least say it outwardly. Gradually you will learn to be grateful inside. This is my blessing to you. I gave you a little knowledge about your situation. And now it's your turn to pray, because I can't just snap my fingers and change your relationship with your father. You must make this journey yourself through your own heart. Put up an image of a holy person. Do you have anything holy in your life?
I'm looking for it.
You need it urgently. You don't have time to look. You can't live without a shrine. Put up an image of Sergius of Radonej or Seraphim of Sarov, whoever you believe in. And just start bowing. There are so many holy people you don't need to go searching for anyone special. Why so proud? Why can't you just accept it? There are sacred places, holy sites, and elevated places like Jerusalem or Mecca, and many others. Take a photo of any holy place. Take an image of a holy person. Start bowing. You don't need to search for anything more. What are you even looking for? Life moves on. If you don't build a connection with a higher power, you won't be able to grow. You simply won't have enough strength. Everything I've told you so far, you won't be able to do it on your own now. You don't have the strength. That's why I don't respect modern psychology that says, just smile anyway. It's like someone sticks a needle in you. It hurts, and they say, Dr. Torsunov, don't pay attention to the needle. I can't ignore it. It hurts, but they keep saying, just relax, relax more and more. while pushing the needle deeper. How can I relax when it hurts? That's how you feel the pain in your relationship right now. It hurts and you just can't do anything about it. But when you start bowing to the sacred, when you connect to it, something amazing happens. Fate itself begins to pull that needle out. It's fate that inserted the needle, and it's fate that pulls it out. Slowly but surely, the needle comes out. Then at some point, it's gone completely. Today I prayed. I built up some reserves of happiness. I shared a little of it with you just now, and you felt better, didn't you? But that doesn't mean you all can keep coming and begging for happiness. Dr. Torsunov, give me a little bit, and me too. There's a joke about a cat who unfortunately died. He fell into some alcohol and his owner started to squeeze alcohol out of the cat. The cat died because the owner squeezed too long. Same thing here with Dr. Torsunov. He can give knowledge, but if you squeeze him for too long, he'll simply die. So you have to start changing your own life yourself. Dr. Torsunov can help to some extent, to a point. But remember, there's little alcohol to squeeze, enough for everyone, but not too much for each of you. Here's the next question. It so happened that I lost a good job and the money that came with it. Well, that's fate. Money comes and goes. You say, every day I pray to God to give me a prestigious job. No, that's not what you should ask God for. Lord, please give me some cash. That's wrong. You need to start doing good deeds. If you want your life to improve, you need to distract yourself from your desires. You come to God saying, I want money, I want money. God thinks, what a scoundrel. I punished them for greed, and now they come back even more shameless. God doesn't like that at all. If we are punished and there is no suitable good job, it's our chance to learn to be selfless. Who becomes rich? Those who give generously, not those who hoard everything for themselves. Money is meant for good deeds. That's how God sees it. But if we perceive money as something that God should give us more and more, the result will be just the opposite. Do good deeds, force yourself a little. Just walk up to some old poor lady who is begging, make some effort, and hand her a few coins. That simple act already brings you closer to finding a good job again. It really doesn't take much. You don't need to do much for the job to return. You just need to do good deeds. Yesterday, a young woman approached me and told me, I came from another city to the lecture. I went to get something to eat, and a man came up to me and said, feed me, I'm hungry. It was obvious that the person had some mental issues. She bought him food and fed him. Then another woman came up and said, excuse me, can you spare $10? I don't have enough for a phone call. Really, I need this money. Please excuse me for asking. And she gave her the money too. I looked at her fate afterwards. She had big difficulties in her personal life at the time, but with that simple act of kindness, she overcame some amount of these difficulties. I clearly saw how her fate became better because of this action. That's how you should act to create a good opportunity to work again. If you are an extraordinary person, then you are destined for a prestigious job, and most likely it will come to you. But if the Lord took it away from you, it means there is a reason for that. The reason is stinginess. Something needs to be done about it. You need to fight it. If we don't fight our stinginess, we will keep suffering in this regard through such events. Don't fixate on your salary and job titles. Instead, pray to God to teach you selflessness, to teach you to be less attached to money, and ask God to engage you in work according to your nature. I know someone who never got a job. He worked in a high position, then lost it, and he never worked again for the rest of his life. His wife came to me. He remained without work because he kept saying, I refuse to take a lower position. I won't work at a lower position. I deserve better. And so he just stayed without work for the rest of his life. That's just pride, that's all. If there's no high-ranking job, take any job and wait patiently for God to give you a better opportunity. This is how you should live. But if you only sit there waiting for a perfect high-ranking job and refuse to do anything else, then it's just pride. God will give you nothing. God doesn't like such behavior at all. For example, I give lectures. Sometimes 600 people come to my lecture. Everything is great. I feel cool. Everyone listens to me. Then let's say someone posts a critical article about me on the internet and releases materials about how bad I am. People read this and think, how could I attend this person's lectures? I need to go to someone else's lectures. Next time I come to another city and only 60 people show up for the lecture. If I said, no, I won't travel anymore unless there are 600 people again. I don't need such small-scale lectures. That means I'd stop lecturing altogether. If you let pride take over, you lose everything. God simply won't give you anything at all. Next question, how to choose work in which I'll be successful? It's very simple. Approach a holy person. Bow to them and ask, where will I find success? Do you think the holy person in their humility will say, "Go there and there will be success"? No, that's not how a holy person acts. They will say, "You are too proud. Go work where God has already placed you." I'm translating literally what a holy person would tell you. You're too proud. Go and start working where God has placed you. And success will gradually come to you. First, work where God has placed you, work hard, and success will come in time. I remember how I started giving lectures. I always gave lectures where God gave me the opportunity. Sometimes only 3 or 5 people would show up. It didn't matter. I gave a lecture anyway. When I was a student, since I came from a low-income family, I had to work as a janitor, a night guard, and even a nurse, carrying bedpans for people. And I was just happy to have the opportunity to help people. God sees when someone finds joy in their work, and He gives more opportunities. God opens more doors. That's how your personality develops. But if you keep trying to jump straight to the 9th floor, you hit your forehead against the wall. Then you wonder, what's going on? Why can't I jump to the 9th floor? You don't need to jump to the 9th floor. You need to first enter through any entrance and go to the 1st floor. You need to step on the 1st stair. Then there will be a 2nd stair, then a 3rd, then there will be a 2nd floor, and then when you climb higher, you'll see more clearly which entrance you needed to use in the first place. You can see it better from above. When a person develops as an individual, they can see better what to do. When a young person asks me, "What is my purpose? What should I do?" I say, "Go work where you're wanted. If it doesn't feel right, change later. After a year or 2, you'll know exactly what you should do." But if you just keep wandering around and asking everyone, you won't find anything. One young man kept pestering me until I finally told him what his nature was. At the next lecture, he came to me, and I immediately asked him, "So, are you already thinking about changing jobs?" He said, "No, I don't think so." I replied, "Why not? I told you what your purpose is." He said, "I started to doubt," and I replied, "I knew you would doubt, that's why I didn't answer you initially." He was sitting next to a young woman. I asked him, "Are you married?" He answered he was not. I asked the young woman, "And you?" She answered she wasn't married either. I said, "Well then, marry each other." She looked at him and said, "I don't want to marry him." He said he didn't want to marry her either. Then I asked him, "If you don't accept my advice about who to marry, then why are you asking me about your purpose?" You have to decide this for yourself. You choose who to marry on your own, and you also find your purpose on your own. No one can reveal it to you because you only believe your own heart. When your heart tells you this is your calling, you feel it, and you immediately jump on the horse of your fate and gallop forward. That's how it works. People ask me, "Dr. Torsunov, where is the horse? Where is fate?" I can't say anything about that because in the end you have to decide for yourself. Someone asks, how to behave correctly if a loved one is jealous. The right way is simple. Do not provoke jealousy. For example, if I flirt with all the girls and my wife doesn't like it, what should I do? That's right, I should not flirt. That's it, it's really that simple, because jealousy always has some root in the heart. Girls often think they behave very modestly. One young woman asked me why her husband was constantly jealous while she was behaving very modestly. I looked at her and saw that her skirt was practically non-existent. There was also a high slit. I told her I would be jealous too. She was surprised. My wife doesn't dress like that. She covers everything, and that makes my life calm and peaceful. I told her, "Now imagine this. People look at you. You are beautiful." She said, "Yes, I am beautiful. That's why your husband is jealous. Everyone else is consuming your beauty, and he gets nothing." Imagine this. You prepare a big dinner for your husband. Then a crowd of friends comes. They eat everything, and he gets nothing. Of course, he is upset. It's his dinner after all. Let others smell it a little, but not too much, and let your husband enjoy all of it. That's his beauty. You married him after all. Next, a letter. I often get disappointed in people. Well, just don't get enchanted in the first place, and you won't be disappointed. When I get to know people more closely, they turn out to be deceivers, looking for material benefit from me. Well, all men look for benefits in women. Where have you seen a man who doesn't? Once a young man told me, "I have an absolutely selfless, pure spiritual feeling developing for my young girlfriend." I said, "Oh, really? You have a spiritual feeling for your young girlfriend? Then why don't you date an old lady instead? You would definitely develop a selfless feeling for her." But if you're dating a young, beautiful woman, that feeling is not entirely selfless. We are all under some illusion, you understand? If you're dating a young man, you're not entirely selfless either. You want to enjoy him, and he wants to enjoy you. These relationships are not selfless. They should become selfless over time. After listening to the lectures, some girls, when a young man starts to hug her, push him away saying, "Be selfless with me." But he can't. If a candy is sweet, you want to eat it. Ladies, you need to understand this. You're not selfless either. Some women say, "Dr. Torsunov, my husband keeps making advances, but I'm so sublime." I ask if she really is. She responds, "Yes, very much so." You need to understand that a woman is entirely made of love energy. Her whole body is woven from it. For a man, the energy of love is concentrated in just one part of his body. Women enjoy life with their entire body, with their whole being. When she lies on a soft bed, she feels happy. When she lives in a comfortable apartment that he created for her, she feels happy. When she interacts with children, she feels happy. That same love energy is at work everywhere in a woman's life. She experiences the energy of love in all relationships, but a man feels the energy of love only in one situation. What to do with him? You enjoy his company all your life. He gives you a beautiful home, comfort, sweets, and many, many different things for your happiness. These are subtle pleasures. There is rough pleasure and there is subtle pleasure. A woman feels happy from subtle pleasures. For a man, pleasure is rougher. He is rougher himself. But it's all the same. There is no difference. Both are selfish. A woman enjoys subtle happiness and a man enjoys coarse happiness. Both enjoy happiness in their own way. If your husband is making too many advances, there are two reasons. First, you are enjoying life too much. You radiate such energy that makes him want to enjoy you too. The second reason is that when the time comes and a woman's energy of enjoyment accumulates in her body, a man next to her starts going wild. He begins to enjoy her too much. That's a sign it's time to have a child. When the baby comes, it draws some of that woman's energy of enjoyment and the husband calms down. It becomes easier for him to live. If he starts going wild again, it means it's time for the second child. When there are enough children, he will calm down completely. He will never have time to think about anything. He will be busy earning a living for all the children, and then balance in the family is achieved. Your desire to be happy and his desire to be happy will come into harmony. You've given me 500 notes and I've only answered 15. That's how it is. I am just one person, and there are many of you, my dears. So, shall we keep answering questions, or should we start the lecture? Who's for the lecture? Raise your hands. Who's for answering questions? All right, let's move forward. Yesterday we learned about the duties of men and women. The most important duty is respect. There are other duties too. For example, a man should lead his family toward spiritual practice, support the family financially, tolerate his wife's emotions, and face all the difficulties of family life with courage. A man should be the elder in the family. That doesn't mean commanding everyone, but behaving in such a way that everyone feels he is the elder. That means growing as a person. When a man truly becomes the elder, a woman cannot contradict him because a woman feels a person. If a man has dignity, a woman cannot help but accept it. That's how she is designed. She accepts what is real and cannot accept what doesn't exist. A man must be brave and endure all the difficulties of the family. He must take responsibility for decision-making because a woman's psyche is not built for making decisions. Both men and women have their main difficulties in their lives. For a woman, the main challenge in life is fear. A woman is afraid of everything new. A woman in life strives for stability, calmness, and harmony, so everything new feels scary to her. A man is an innovator by nature. He has to change things, strive for perfection and transformation, so a man makes a decision himself. Making a decision doesn't mean ignoring a wife's opinion. It means listening to her, listening to everyone close, and making sure everyone's happy. That's what decision-making means. It doesn't mean you decide your way, I decide mine. A man listens to his wife, then does what's best for her. That's decision-making. And a wife feels happy knowing she's always protected in the family. Sometimes decisions have to be made not exactly how the wife wants, but how they need to be. That happens. It's connected to women's weaknesses. For example, you need to move to a new apartment, but a woman is used to the old one. Woman's mind works so that it's very hard for her to change her living place, so she holds on to the old one. Maybe not every woman behaves like this, but many do. In this case, a man just packs up and moves, and she has no choice but to grumble and follow him. Then after a week, she gets used to the new place, thinks it's fine, maybe even likes it better than the old one, and tells her husband, "Don't ever move again." She's building her little nest there. A woman builds her nest, she needs to tidy everything up, and it can take months to make that nest just right. She puts a lot of work into that nest. When a husband says it's time to move to the next nest, she can't accept it, because again, she'll have to spend a lot of effort to make the next nest perfect. Am I right, ladies? Who here doesn't mind changing nests? Raise your hands if you do it without problems. There are always exceptions, but mostly there are rules we live by. A woman's duty is to take care of her family. If a woman says, Dr. Torsunov, unfortunately, I can't take care of my family that much because I have a job. Every person's top priority should be God. Without spiritual practice, it's impossible to have the strength to live a normal life. God and prayer come first. So the very first thing a person does when they get up in the morning is pray. That's the foundation for strength to face everything else. Prayer is the first and most important thing. Second in line for a woman is her family. Family is the foundation of life for her. A woman rests at work but works hard in the family. A man works hard at work but rests at home. Who here has ever rested at home, ladies? Does anyone actually rest at home? One brave young lady raised her hand. We'll talk to her in a moment.
I'm not married, so I get to rest.
All right, then, she's off the list. Who here is married and actually rests at home? There's a lady in the back row who's married and rests at home. I'm really curious what she means by that. I think other women are curious too. Please tell us.
I don't get stressed at home.
So you do things at home without stress? You're hardworking, active, joyful, happy, and that's why you're able to relax at home, right?
Yes.
Got it. Makes perfect sense. That doesn't mean you're just lounging on the couch. You're busy working, cleaning, doing everything, right?
I have 3 kids.
And you're really active, moving around, getting things done at home. Sounds like you've got it all under control. Thanks, I understand. Okay, one lady raised her hand, and it seems for her working at home is her rest. She's not lounging on the couch or watching hockey. She's working hard at home. But if a woman goes to work, comes home late, the kids are hungry, the husband's unhappy, the house is messy, and the dog has made a mess everywhere, that's just not right. If a woman behaves like that, what happens next? Chaos. She creates the atmosphere for the whole family's life. If she doesn't create it, nobody else will. A woman works hard at home, so if her job interferes with that work, she needs to find a job that doesn't get in the way. Women rest at work, they don't work there. Women often ask me, Dr. Torsunov, how do I find my purpose at work? I know family is most important, but I don't have a family yet and want to find my purpose at work. That's the wrong mindset from the start. If you look for your purpose at work, you'll never build a family. To have a family, you have to invest effort in your personal life. You either invest energy in work or in your personal life, one or the other. If you want to earn your own money for an apartment, that's the wrong choice because you need to invest energy into finding a man who will earn for the apartment. You have different priorities. You need to have children soon because in 6 years it might be harder. Right now, it's okay, no problem. You need to invest effort in your personal life. That means less stress at work. The energy can't be split. What does investing effort in personal life mean? It means learning to communicate gently with people, caring for everyone, calling your parents, calling all your friends and relatives, and socializing. And also attending different lectures about family life, meeting in good places. Look at how many great people have gathered here. One of them might be your future husband. It's very possible. A woman who attends such good lectures is a good woman. What's your name?
Ellie.
She's a really great young lady. I'd suggest you get to know her today. You see, girls should attend good events like this. We have our festival where about 700 people gather. Many meet each other there. For 2 weeks during the festival, people live together, learn how to live right, flirt a little, meet, start families, and so on. A lady should spend time on her personal life. Instead of going to bars and casinos, she should go to places where good people gather, places to meet people and smile. But to smile, you need energy. When you work too much, you have no strength left to smile. A lady should be rested, rosy-cheeked, and happy. That's when she looks beautiful and attractive. A woman worn out from work is not attractive. She lacks the energy to smile. And without that energy, no one will ask her to marry. A woman's primary responsibility is relationships. She must always be calm, rested, and happy. She shouldn't be overworked. So here's advice for women. If you want to know where to work, make sure your job has these things to keep you happy. What kind of job it is, that's less important. The main thing is that you get to chat with your friends. Snack, because women love to snack. Women snack, men just eat their meals. That's the difference. Women savor the taste of food. They want to taste the energy of love in their food, so they snack. Here a little snack, there a little snack. They enjoy the flavor of food. Men don't care about the taste all that much. They just want strength. So don't worry, ladies, if your husband says you should work too, you don't have to. If he says, I won't work either, that's fine. A woman snacks at one friend's place, then another's. No problem, but a man needs to eat a full meal. A snack just won't cut it, and he can't just snack at his friends' places. He can't call a buddy and say, I got nothing to eat. Mind if I come over and grab a bite? The friend might say, what? Go work and eat your own food. But a woman can visit her friends, have some tea here and there, no problem at all. She just needs a little nibble here and there, and she's good. But a man needs to eat proper meals, so he won't tolerate a situation like that. He'll go out and work. Don't be afraid, ladies, of ending up without money. If you feel overwhelmed juggling work and family, let your husband handle it. Invest your energy in love. Invest in your husband. He'll grow stronger, healthier, more energetic when his wife cares for him at home. So at work, women should have the chance to snack, to take breaks. They should be able to leave early or come in late, at least one of those. And they shouldn't be bossed around but gently asked to do things. That's the ideal work situation for women. Raise your hand if you want to work in a place like that, ladies. And who doesn't? Raise your hand. Anyone? See, everyone wants that. For women, work isn't really about the job itself, it's about the rest, because I haven't said anything about work itself. I've been talking about rest at work, that's it. What matters to women at work is good relationships, other women to chat with, a boss who doesn't hassle them. That's rest at work. It's not about the job. A woman's real work is at home. That's where she finds happiness. If a young lady isn't married yet, she should dedicate this time to spiritual practice. She needs to grow as a person and learn how to be a woman. The two most important things in her life. One of them is learning to pray, to grow strong, so her cheeks glow with health. When a woman's energy grows, it all shines outward. When a man practices spirituality, his good qualities turn inward. He's like a diamond hidden under dirt, or just a diamond hidden from sight. When a woman practices spirituality, her best shines through to the outside. Therefore, women who practice spirituality radiate the beauty of spiritual power and naturally attract attention. So just think more about God, and you'll become radiant and beautiful. A woman has two types of beauty. Want me to talk about that? I'll sing, Love Will Suddenly Come Knocking, when you least expect it, and every evening will suddenly feel so wonderfully good. And you sing, Heart, you don't want to rest. Heart, it's so good to be alive. Heart, it's so good that you exist. Thank you, heart, that you know how to love like this. You see, life is set up so that happiness comes and goes. Love always arrives unexpectedly, without warning. But if a woman wants guarantees that she'll get married, then I can give you those guarantees right now. There are good periods in a lady's life when she can meet a loved one, and there are bad periods. In the bad periods, don't rush or force anything. If you feel like no one's noticing you, don't worry. Just focus on your spiritual practice, pray, and work on yourself. Know that the good period will definitely come. The good period means people start looking your way again, paying attention. Ladies, know that you have two types of love energy. One type attracts men who want to enjoy sex. Women create this type of love energy by applying lipstick, showing some skin, styling their hair beautifully, and smiling softly and gently. This creates a kind of love energy that attracts lustful men, men who definitely won't want to marry you, 100%. But there's another type of love energy a woman can have, one that hits the mark every time, right when the right man comes along who actually wants to marry her. This is when a woman works on herself, learns humility and obedience, practices modesty by not showing too much skin. She learns not to abandon anyone in life, not to betray or deceive in relationships, and always fulfills her responsibilities. Even if she's not interested in a young man, she politely declines, calmly repeating it 50 times in a row if needed. Unfortunately, we can't be together, my dear. No, we just can't. And she keeps saying this until he calms down. When a woman cultivates qualities like kindness, care, and love, a special kind of warmth, a psychic energy linked to family ties starts flowing from her heart. It's a unique warmth that signals she'll be getting married soon. This energy inspires her deeply, and she feels peaceful when this strength arises inside her. It means things will soon be good for her. So who here has calmed down, feels peaceful, and is not married yet? You still need to put in a little more effort. It's starting to flow for you, and you too, and you. But you need to repent. Please stand up. When women leave someone behind, a certain blockage stays in their heart that must be overcome through repentance. If this blockage is there, then the warmth won't help. No matter what, people won't form very close relationships with you. They'll meet you but won't marry you. Repentance is necessary. If you've done something wrong, like left someone behind, then you need to repent so your heart can melt and that blockage can disappear. Do you hear me? You see, women themselves feel when this warm energy flows from their heart. They feel it. They calm down about their personal life. They know for sure that everything will be okay. That's a guarantee. Now, my dears, what should you do then? You need to pray and work on your relationships. Don't be running around bars. But on the other hand, don't lock yourself up either. You need to be social, be open, attend spiritual services and different events. For a woman who's not married yet, now is the perfect time to learn about life. She should attend coaching sessions, events, be open, and warmly engage with people around her. That's how you live, because once you have a family, it becomes harder for a woman to get out. You can combine two things, showing yourself and learning at the same time. That's the right approach. But until that warmth flows from your heart, no one will come along, my dears. If you're beautiful, it's even harder because people will come around all the time, but not the right ones. Why not the right ones? You shouldn't build relationships with some friends. You need to get married, make it official, then life will fall into place. And if you're friends with a guy who already has a wife, it gets even worse. Whether she knows it or not, her heart will send punishment your way. And you'll suffer more and more. So, if there's a married guy in your life using your beauty just to enjoy himself, and you're building something with him because you don't have anyone else, you need to say goodbye. Send him a text saying this can't go on, that these kinds of relationships are sinful, so it's time to part ways forever. Then change your phone number. Don't talk anymore, don't explain yourself. Endure for 4 or 5 months, it'll hurt, but then you'll forget. Everything passes like an empty dream. He'll find himself another lover, don't worry, that's no problem. When a woman gets involved with another woman's husband, he steals her beauty and her chance at happiness, and she turns him into a loser in life. When a man cheats on his wife, he loses the chance to grow as a person. He becomes a failure. To avoid being unhappy, just be faithful to your wife, because a woman holds the power to curse or bless. You think, I don't want her to curse me. But whether you want it or not, it doesn't change a thing. Women have that power to curse or bless. What does it mean to bless? It means wishing her husband safety and well-being. That's the power of faithfulness and blessing. She believes everything will be fine for him. That's how female nature works. But if a man has done wrong, her heart feels differently toward him. Even if he's her husband, it doesn't matter. What's special about relationships nowadays, since the woman doesn't choose the path of work on herself as a woman, doesn't develop feminine qualities, her subtle energy shifts from the left to the right side, from the female subtle energy channel, Ida Nadi, to the male subtle energy channel, Pingala Nadi. As a result, a woman who doesn't want to invest energy in love, care, humility, kindness, and beauty feels it's easier to just manage life on her own without expecting help from men. She focuses on improving her life herself. Such a woman ends up studying more, working harder, trying to get her life together. But what she's really doing is drawing out her fate instead of following her natural feminine role, caring for others, which is also work. She might work in daycare, nurse, or care for others in some way. But if she wants money and influence, she studies management or accounting. She studies whatever will get her financial means to live, not realizing that a woman's true means of existence is her beauty, her influence through that beauty. And by beauty, we mean inner beauty. When a woman bets on her own job and her money, she's essentially living on the masculine energy plane, and as a result, she loses her power of influence. She becomes less beautiful. When she becomes less beautiful, people stop noticing her. When her influence fades, she is being exploited at work and everywhere else. She basically becomes a tool in someone else's hands. But when a woman has inner strength, she has a feminine sense of dignity. She tells her boss, sorry, I've got things to do at home. I'm leaving work now. It's time. He says, what about overtime? We agreed you'd stay longer. She replies, sorry, I have things at home to take care of. The kids aren't fed, so I'm leaving now. He says, I'll fire you then. And she smiles sweetly and says, do what you think is best. When a man sees a woman carry herself with dignity, she's beautiful. She's got a lot of inner strength. Well, let her go home. She's a woman after all. Then there are women who put work above their personal lives. As a result, they become slaves to the job. They work as much as the boss wants because they're afraid to lose the job. The boss keeps pushing harder and harder, and for women who put work first over personal life, there are 4 stages at any job. Stage 1, I really like it here. Stage 2, I'm getting tired. Stage 3, I'm fed up. Stage 4, I'm leaving. You hear me, ladies? Where are you right now? If your job cycle goes like this, like it, tired, fed up, leaving, that means your energy is flowing the wrong way in your mind and body. It means you're putting all your bets on work and activity, and your psyche isn't getting the rest it needs. It gets more and more overloaded. Soon your beauty will start to fade, then your hormones will get out of balance. Then you might get seriously ill, your body will age faster, and you'll end up lonely and unhappy your whole life. Oh, Dr. Torsunov is such a good man. He tells good stuff. You have a choice. You can put family first. That doesn't mean you quit your job. It just means you don't treat work as the center of your life. You don't obsess over your career. Don't grind yourself to exhaustion. Don't worry if you lose your job or not. You care more about your fate, your personal life. You start smiling at everyone, and you start helping elderly ladies. You find some old lady, visit her, wash her clothes, take care of her. Women's blessings have real power. My wife practiced spirituality even before we got married. She took serving others very seriously. Every day she visited an elderly couple who couldn't walk anymore. She literally bathed them, helped with everything, cooked meals, did their laundry. And they were strangers, not family. The old man slowly passed away. When the old lady couldn't walk anymore and was bedridden, my wife took care of her. One day the old lady called her over, raised her hand and said, "Come here." And she came up to her. The old woman looked at her, raised her hand and said, "I bless you. You will have a very good husband." A month later we met. That's what a woman should be doing. In her life, a woman shouldn't be all about grinding at work to pay for an apartment. If she's already bought a place and a car, then what happens next usually follows a certain pattern. Here's how it goes. The more independent and successful a woman is, the more dependent a man she ends up attracting. Because an independent man doesn't need an independent woman. He wants a dependent one. A strong man wants a woman who's a bit vulnerable because a woman's strength is in her softness, but a weak man needs a strong woman. This happens subconsciously. Don't think a man is counting your cars or your apartments. Even if you hide everything, you'll attract the kind of man who doesn't want to work, and you'll be the one who works. That's the reality of relationships these days. Because women behave wrong. Without the right knowledge, they end up with men who are weak in character. A woman ends up strong and hardworking, a man weak. And a woman thinks she's stronger than a man. That's a mistake. If a woman isn't inclined toward personal life, humility, and obedience, that's not her strength. That's her weakness. Just like a man who doesn't want to work and is lazy, he's weak. And a woman who can't submit to her man and earns more money than him is just as weak. Weak as a woman. By the way, a weak man can be really good at cooking, mopping the floors, and taking care of the kids. He might be strong in that, but that's not the kind of strength he needs to have. That's women's strength. Meanwhile, a weak woman thinks, "How great it is that I found a husband like that. I can work and still know everything's good at home." Do you think their personal life will be okay? Don't jinx it. They'll be fine if they just start growing and changing slowly. It's good when a woman who likes to work finds a husband who is vulnerable and prefers to stay at home and cook. That's good, but over time a man will mature. He'll grow as a person. He'll become a real man. As he becomes a man, he'll start wanting a woman, not another man by his side. And that means a woman also has to grow up, mature, and become a real woman. To learn more on the subject of health and healing of the body, please make sure to read my health guide, available for download on my YouTube channel or on my Instagram page. Thank you very much and see you soon.